Welcome back to another amazing episode of Mrs. Steiner Reads. I'm Mrs. Steiner, and I'm so glad you're here today. Here I am again in my library, and I am by the Easy Readers, which you know are my favorite, but I just want to tell everybody that hopefully starting next week, I am going to start doing live events every Thursday with the chapter books. I love Easy Readers, and you guys already know that. But I also love a ton of chapter books. And I know that some of my older viewers are really needing to read some chapter books. So I know a whole bunch that are really good that you're going to love. So make sure and start watching for Mrs. Steiner's live Thursday events. Chapter books coming. So now that we've talked about that, let's read today's book. Now, today's book is by Shocking, another one of my favorite authors. Today, we're going to read a book by Helen Lester. Now, let's talk about Helen Lester for a minute. You know this author. She wrote, do you know Tacky the Penguin? Okay, Tacky the Penguin is hilarious. Would you even look at this? It's a penguin in a Hawaiian shirt. That's a hoot. He is hilarious, and he has tons of adventures. He has Tacky, he has a Tacky Christmas, he has Tacky Locks, and the three bears, get it? Tacky Locks. So that's like a fractured fairy tale when they take a fairy tale, you know, and then they change it around a little bit. Okay, so I love Tacky books. Okay, so I had a really hard time deciding between my two favorite Helen Lester books because I have two favorites. Okay, so the one that we'll read sometime in the future, but not today, but I want you to go to the library and check it out immediately after this video because it is awesome, is Princess Penelope's Parrot. Now, Princess Penelope, she's not very nice. You'd think that a princess would be sweet and nice. Not Penelope. She's kind of mean. And she has a parrot, and she's not very nice to him, but he learns a whole bunch of words that he uses at the right time to get her in quite a bit of trouble, and it is hilarious. So make sure you go check that out. Princess Penelope's Parrot. And then I promise someday in the future, probably not real soon, but someday I promise I'll do that one on Mrs. Steiner Reads. So what could possibly be better than that? Well, I think I love this book just as much. This book is called Me First. It's about a pig. He's kind of pushy, and he always says, me first. Now, sometimes you just have to wait your turn, don't you? Let's see if our pig doesn't learn a little lesson today. This book is called Me First. It's by Helen Lester. The illustrations are by Lynn Munsinger. So this book, when you go to the library at your school or the public library, is going to be in the Easy Readers, or the picture books, they sometimes call them, in the LES for Lester. Now, let's read. Here's the title page. Kind of gives you a hint of what's going to happen. Me First. Pinkerton was pink, plump, and pushy. He would do anything to be first, even if it meant bouncing off bellies, stepping on snouts, or tying tails. Me first, he cried when he had been last in line and finished first down the slide. Me first, he cried at story time, settling on his round bottom with his big head right smack in front of the book. And every day in the school trough-ateria, me first rang out. And there was Pinkerton. One Saturday, Pinkerton's Pig Scout troop went on a day trip to the beach. Pinkerton was first on the bus and sat in the front row. He was the first off the bus, first in the water, first out of the water, and first into the picnic basket. After lunch, the Pig Scouts decided to go for a hike. Off they went with Pinkerton leading the line, of course. As the Pig Scouts marched across the sand, they heard a faint voice far in the distance. The voice called out, "Who would care for a sandwich?" Pinkerton pricked up his pointy ears. Care for a sandwich? Oh yes, me first, he thought, and he began to trot ahead of the others. Soon he heard the voice again, closer and louder this time. Who would care for a sandwich? Me first! Cried Pinkerton, kicking up sand and leaving the other pig scouts far behind. His imagination almost burst. Peanut butter, jelly, 2 tomatoes, 7 pickles, a slab of cheese, a blob of mayo, a big smear of mustard, all for me first! Who would care for a sandwich? Now at full gallop, Pinkerton shrieked, "Me first!" Over a sandy hill he flew and kerplop! He landed face to face with a small creature with a bump on her nose and fur on her toes. "Am I glad to see you," she cackled. "I sure could hear you coming. Me first, me first, me first. I guess you really would care for a sandwich." "Oh, yes, indeed," replied Pinkerton. He jumped up and down so fast his teeth jiggled. "Good," cackled the small creature. Pinkerton waited. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. "Well," he asked. "Well, what?" replied the small creature. "The sandwich," begged Pinkerton. "Where's the sandwich?" The small creature curtsied. "You're looking at her," she went on. "I am a sandwich, and I live in the sand. And you said you would care for a sandwich. So here I am. Care for me." All Pinkerton could say was, "But I," taking no notice, the sandwich continued. "You said me first. You wanted to be the first to care for me. Well, congratulations. Now just come along to my sandcastle." Grabbing Pinkerton firmly by the sleeve, she led him around a few bends. Before he could say, "But I," again, the gate to her castle closed. "All right, my pink, plump, and pushy one. Now you care for me. You may have the honor of being the first to powder my nose and comb my toes." Seeing no way out, Pinkerton powdered her nose and combed her toes. "Now," she crowed, "you may be the first to put my supper in a bucket and feed me with a shovel." Pinkerton looked around. He had no choice. He put her supper in a bucket and fed her with a shovel. Rubbing her tummy, the sandwich spoke on. "Finally, after you've had the privilege of being the first to wash my dishes and do my laundry and curl my hair and tuck me in, you may be the first to tell me a bedtime story." Pinkerton washed the dishes, swept the castle, did the laundry, curled the sandwich's hair, and tucked her in. Now look, you know how when your mom and daddy tuck you in, they tuck you in the blankets, right? But remember, she's a sandwich. So what's he tucking her into? The sand. The sandwich stretched and yawned loudly. Now the story. I need my story. Pinkerton was so tired he could barely speak. "I don't know any stories," he whimpered. "Then how about making up something?" "Oh, how about something concerning a pushy pig who always wanted to be first?" Pinkerton sighed, and he began. "Once upon a time, there lived a pig who always wanted to be first, until one day he met a wise sandwich." "Wise and beautiful," cut in the sandwich. "A wise and beautiful sandwich who showed him that first was not always best." "Aha!" cackled the sandwich. She gave Pinkerton a slow, serious, and meaningful wink. "Have you learned something?" "Oh, yes, yes," said Pinkerton. "I promise I have. In that case, thanks for the care. Goodbye and good luck." She opened the gate and Pinkerton sped off so fast that he didn't even notice the delicious sandwich she held out to him. That's the sandwich he wanted. He was just in time to catch the bus. On he scooted, pink, plump, and glad to be last. That's a great story. Now, I didn't get to go, aw, at the end, because it wasn't really super sweet at the end, but I did get to go, see, now you learned something. And actually, we learned something from this book today. What did Pinkerton teach us? It's not always best to be first. Now, it's fun to be first, and sometimes you get to be first and you get to be the leader in the line, and that's great. But on days that you don't get to be first, it's okay. And we sure shouldn't push anybody out of the way or be mean to be first. That's not nice. And remember, one of our 3 rules, have a good day, be a good friend. That would be that one. And make good choices. That's 2 and 3. Being a good friend and making good choices. So we need to make sure that we be first when it's our turn, but that we're okay and polite when we don't get to be first, because it's okay too. And we sure don't want to have to care for a sandwich. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our episode. Here's what I want you to do. First of all, don't forget to look up Helen Lester books in your library at school and at your regular library, because she is a great author, and I think you're really going to love her books, especially all of the tacky books. You could read them all. Now, here's some other things I need you to do. I need you to like my video. I need you to subscribe to my channel. You need to hit the bell if you want to receive notifications when a new video comes out. I also would love for you to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook at Mrs. Steiner Reads. That's me. And I would love for you to like me. In fact, I would love for you to leave me a comment. Hey, here's a hint about leaving me a comment. In one of my next episodes, I'm actually going to read a book that somebody left for me in the comments. I am so excited. So those of you who have commented and asked for a book to be read, stay tuned because they're coming up very, very soon. So I thank you for tuning in today, and I thank you for watching Mrs. Steiner Reads. Keep reading. Hey, at least I did it in one take. It took me 25 times of messing up, but hey, it's only one video.